It's time for QB1 with Crissy Froyd. And Crissy, a lot of people talking about Bailey Zappe's performance in the preseason in Foxborough against the Giants. What were your takeaways from what you saw from Bailey Zappe?
He got off to a little bit of a shaky start, like a lot of these rookie quarterbacks playing their first preseason games so often do. But I think that he bounced back. I think he had a lot of really good passes outside of those first 9. He completed only 3 of them. And so that was a little bit abysmal, something that you want to move past. But I think he made several really nice throws, looked really good on the deep ball. That was something he was well known for in his days at Western Kentucky. And he also showed off his scrambling ability. I mean, air raid quarterbacks get knocked all the time for not being able to run. And this is a quarterback that I think can run when called upon, which is the trend that the NFL is moving toward anyway. So I think that this is not a quarterback who's probably going to push Mac Jones anytime soon, but I think that he made a very good impression.
In terms of his ability to scramble, was that the highlight, would you say, in terms of takeaways from his overall performance?
I would say that was a major highlight, and then just how solid he was on the deep ball. This is a player that's always been praised for his deep passing ability, broke the FBS passing record. So this is a guy who's put up some really big numbers, and those numbers don't just come from the offense that he's been in. They come from his ability to throw the ball, and I think that was well on display in this preseason showing.
And you still see Bailey Zappe projected as a backup, obviously, behind Mac Jones. We saw Brian Hoyer a little bit as well. Where do you kind of project Bailey Zappe's future place in the league?
Well, it's going to be a while. I mean, if this is a quarterback who ever has a chance to start, which, I mean, the odds are kind of against him, outside of just what a player can do, it also matters about where you're drafted and the situation that you're drafted into. And right now, this is Mac Jones's team. And if Mac Jones continues on the same trajectory that he's currently on, this will probably never be Bailey Zappe's team. So do I think this is a player who could develop into a starter and that maybe something goes different down the line? Yes, I do. I think that this is a player who could start in the NFL eventually, but I think that he has some development to make, some big strides to take. But I think that the biggest thing to look at is how high of a floor he has. This player has always been very underrated. Now, at the end of the day, will always have a place in this league as a high-end backup, if nothing else.
I was thinking about this last night, Crissy, when I was watching the Giants Patriots preseason game. And I was thinking, man, for a high-end backup in the league, and I wasn't thinking about Zappe as much as Brian Hoyer. I'm like, you can make a pretty good living. Hoyer's made around $35 million a year as a high-end backup. There's obviously a lot of responsibilities that go with it, but your body doesn't take as much of a hit in theory. How prepared do the backups need to be? I mean, what kind of job is this, I guess, from somebody that studies the quarterback so closely? It can be a very lucrative, long-lasting career for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, they stick around for a long time. And like you said, there's a reason why, because they're not out there getting beat up like some of these other starters who don't have an offensive line are. So I think it's one of the best jobs you can have in sports because, I mean, you have to stay on your P's and Q's. You never know when somebody's going to go down. I mean, we think about some of the games. I can't recall the specific one right now where they had a wide receiver starting at quarterback, like all the stuff that happened during COVID. You never truly know. So you've got to be ready to go at any time, any point in time. But yeah, I think that it's really one of the easier jobs to have in football. And I think it's a good way to stay involved where you don't have to deal with some of the other things that some of these guys do and then last a lot longer as well. So yeah. I don't think that Bailey Zappe will be holding the clipboard for his entire career. But if he is, there's a silver lining to look at there.
Not a bad job to have. Less pressure, less stress on the body, and potentially a lot of cash. All right, QB1 with Crissy Froyd and Bailey Zappe. Crissy, thanks.
Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more QB1.